Or perhaps late at night.
いやいやそうそうあるんだ。さあそれでは8月24日スト3サード東西戦始めていきたいと思います。皆さんよろしくお願いします。パフパフどんどんどんパフパフどんどんどん今日はめちゃくちゃ盛り上がっております。大変
Damn, Marvel's Capcom Infinite's almost out. It's like 2 weeks.
久しぶり
Isn't that kind of weird?
本当したらね
Mine is up
毎日
first.
ね
Danger,
RP
danger.
大会になる今日は普通の東西戦ではございません。
Oh my god, that Stanfierce
九
hitbox.
州から
Delete this.
今日のユリアン使いが登場しております。
He does wake up non-EX DP. I respect that.
今日はなんとド
It's
リンク
okay
で
against Alex.
ましたからね。その九州
It's
最強
probably throw
ユリアン
invincible.
と
A lot of DP style moves are in this game.
最強ユリアン
I don't know about non-EX DP from Elena. EX for sure is.
はい。そこでそうですよね。富永さんより先に取りましたよね。
That car throw.
ちゃんとね聞いてるんだ。
Just poking out with Stanfierce is not very good, I feel. Got him.
うんあれ
Didn't need a combo, thank god.
おと言ってる間に
If he needed a combo, he would have
ワイ
dropped
ン
it.
さんがシャケさんを先鋒戦勝負ますよ。
Ironically, Elena's combos actually do a fuck ton of damage. She doesn't get many opportunities though.
さあ二人
Her only combo starter basically only functions after a parry or a jump in.
はい。これはきついカードですね。
And then she needs EX, often multiple EXs. And if she uses any EX, she generally can't use a super. But the EX combos will actually generally do more damage than the super combos, although it depends on the screen position. Elena's a weird situation. The only special move she has that works into a super is her DP, and that motion is pretty awkward. It's okay if you just parried, then you can do like parry into low strong into DP into super without too much trouble. Oro can't jump over Elena in the corner. Dude, that double jump was so bad. All the Elena player had to do was walk to the left. And then Oro, none of Oro's air buttons would have hit. If he's in a neutral jump state, he doesn't have a cross up or anything. Then he would have had to parry on the way down. And he would have had to parry like the right thing. Oh, what a bad punish. Classic Elena. Stand short to whiff a DP. Because you hit the stand short too early. Raw DP probably does as much damage as stand short into DP, to be honest. Probably barely less. Alright, that went from like good for Oro to like good for Elena real fast. And I mean real good for Oro compared to real good for Elena. This match is never over. No match with Oro Super 2 is over. Unless the Oro dies. Nice, that was cool. Rhino Horn interacts really well against our one opponents. The parries will be very erratic. If you're jumping and parrying and you see a Rhino Horn, like the parry could be at any one of like 4 different times. There's no unblockable here. He had to go for a high-low and he got it. Shitty drop. さあここで体力リードを奪っているんで苦しいぞ。さあ逃げ切った。さあババインさん逃げ切ったぞ。さあここで And then if Rhino Horn interacts with an airborne opponent, Elena can generally get a juggle follow-up. DP or EX DP perhaps. This might kill. Oh my god, this fucking shitty-ass Aura player. I would have killed there. I would have hit that combo. Free. He had the perfect screen position. He could have used light. Y'all. East versus West. I just started not so long ago. There were a lot of drops. Particularly from the Oro. I don't need that shit in my life. Good spacing. Kind of an awkward jump over. Probably could have been anti-aired. Shouldn't have hit an air button. Should have been air parrying. Nice spacing. This matchup is very awkward. Oh. I get what he was trying for, but that kind of stuff is very inconsistent for Elena. I don't even know what he was better off doing, to be honest. Probably the most consistent thing would have been parry into sweep. Parry into low strong, there's like no fallout from low strong from that far away.
黒からの中
So you might as well just pick a button stronger than low strong. Low strong is her only cancelable normal.
そっかそうだ
Well, that's not true. You've got low short and
あのエレナのなんか
probably some of her jabs. I think the first hit of stand strong as well. All of her other cancels are garbage.
自身には入らない感じなんですかねあの最大みたいなやつ
Stand short, low strong are her only remotely useful cancels.
空中での浮きのなんていうんだろう空中での
But she has like very little in the way of opportunities to use canceling normals too. Lena's got a super weird tool set. She's got a lot of ways to open the opponent up, but absolutely none of them lead to a combo.
落ち着いてます D5 さん
Went for the baby ender.
さあ
He didn't even use a DP even though he had a cornered opponent. 100% baby.
はい噂のタルバイン連携出ましたねこれがでもあの連携あらゆるエレナ使いが使うんですよね
That roundhouse and its low invincibility.
そんな
Nice punish.
マジで
Nice, that's it.
強いんだこの技おー強い D5 さんここ
That was crouching opponent. I think that pretty much always works. Low strong into super 2 on a crouching opponent. Like regardless of range. On standing opponents at max range it can drop. Which always feels shitty. Super 1 will also drop there. And of course Super 3 doesn't have a hitbox at all. So Elena's a little awkward when she gets max range pokes. Can't really do anything from them.
はいまあやっぱり今もちょろっと出たけどその空中戦ですよね
What's really awkward is if she doesn't have a super, she can't do anything from mid-range pokes either. So it's like get a parry, punish with a poke.
ありますね
Which is one of the reasons Elena's not a high tier character.
この体力リードを
Why is this footage so jittery all of a sudden?
まあでも近づく手段が意外とそれぐらいしか見当たらないですよね地上で苦しんでるとやっぱ飛んでさあこのリード厳しいぞうわ
The opponent is a lot more rewarded for parrying Elena than Elena is for parrying the opponent.
では
The opponent also takes less risks for attempting to parry Elena than Elena probably takes for attempting to parry the
バネッ
opponent.
トも強いですね
Elena is moderately fucked over by the parry system.
奪って画面端
A lot of her stuff is very much parry bait.
から
Towards medium kick, towards medium punch. Down roundhouse, down medium kick, down towards roundhouse. A lot of her pokes, I guess, too.
おーしっかりやっぱあれを通して
It's like the mix-up is solid with the car
危
grab.
ないから
But Chun-Li has a mix-up between a car grab and a fucking bullet from a gun.
さあうまいぞ
Elena has a marginally better
し
mix-up,
っかりブロからの反撃そして投げ最後は投げ
but her riskless option, the car grab,
頑張ってます
That's okay.
キャラクターをクリアしております
but her risky options in her pokes, like Chun-Li can poke and then get a shit ton of damage that warrants the risk of
さあ
getting
走
low
って
parried.
さあこれは流れある
Elena doesn't have anything to warrant the risk, and all she gets in return is good overheads, which are
そ
nice,
してキープしたい
but they're definitely not as good as Chun-Li.
さあだけどこのジャンプ
Chun-Li's
が
mix-up was a million times better,
まだ
even though it's not, like, it's easier to beat Chun-Li without,
さあこれを
like,
キープできれば
it's easier to come out without taking damage against Chun-Li than it is with Elena. But if you take damage against Chun-Li, you're going to be taking a shit ton more.
そうですこのままキープしてさあ
Nice
タ
job.
ーゲットうまい今の渋いですね
The fundamental problem with Elena is that she has to hit you so much to kill you. It's like, yeah, technically she can kill you in 2 jumping combos
あー
if she's got some bar.
あーっとここはなか
But
なか
if she wants to actually open you up,
ダッシュ膝
utilize her mix-up,
あー危ない
it takes like 10 of overhead, throw, low,
おー
more like
なんと
15.
いう安全運転おーレイド出なかった
And they're all safe, but you know,
さあ
parries.
時間もないさあここは逃げ切るのか
She's like a reverse grappler.
おーエルボーできる
Well, she's not like a reverse grappler, but she's like a grappler with active command grab. She can attack you, but she has to take risks to attack you. And the risks pay off more for the opponent than they pay off for her.
さあこれでさあタックスはちょっと何を言ってるかねちょっとわかんないんでねまあ放置しておきましょう
What is this footage?
さあ続いて登場が番長
Help.
番長改め小娘さん
Elena's like perfect in this game. I don't know how they ruined her so much in Street Fighter 4.
B5 さんが頑張ってくれたから
I mean, they made her fun to play, but they made her like so They could have just kept everything that she was all about without. It's because they made such an emphasis. They were like, oh, she won't be competitive if we don't add the ability for her to combo. But her ability to combo combined with her good footsies was too much.
近場で喧嘩するとやっぱダメっぽいんでね。あー、これは
There's no individual thing, but I can think of so many things where it's like Elena probably would have been a much more balanced character if they just like did so and so. Like if Mount Smash was a little bit safer, but you couldn't combo out of it. Oh my lord! Like imagine if you couldn't combo out of Elena's 15 frame overhead. She already has a good mix-up between that overhead and Link's Tail. And you can combo out of Link's Tail with an F80C. She had a little bit of wonky hitboxes. Her main wonky hitboxes in Street Fighter 4 were her low crouch state. They eventually fixed that. There's some other stuff that's a bit wacky about her hitboxes, but it's not... I don't want to say it's not super significant, because it might be super significant. It's not overtly broken. Or it is overtly broken from like a programming standpoint, but from a functional standpoint it's not overtly broken. She's unusually hard to counterpoke compared to most characters, because her boxes don't go out or come in the same way other characters do. That is how I understand it. And you take a character with really good pokes and you make it so she's especially hard to counterpoke. The only thing I remember that was overtly broken about her was maybe a problem with other characters rather than her. But she could dash through certain characters if they were crouching or very close. But it was like it's not just Elena's dash, it was like it had to be Elena plus a specific other character, and there were only like 2 characters where it did that. And those characters had other people who could dash through them. So it's just specific pairs of characters that were dash throughs. The one I remember specifically was Elena versus Vega. It was either standing Vega or crouching Vega, but on one of them, if Elena did DPF ADC, she would dash through, and it made follow-ups a lot harder, although still possible. So like if you wanted to get Vega off you, and you did EX DPF ADC, and then dashed in, that would be plus on block. Or not, maybe not plus, I think it was barely minus. But it would be safe on block. And on hit you would be able to combo out of it because she's like +4 or something on a EX DPF ADC. But you would dash through Vega and then you wouldn't be point blank because you didn't dash into him, you dashed through him. So you'd have to cancel immediately. You'd have to do EX DPF ADC, and then crouch jab, and then cancel to a spin scythe going the other way. Something about push boxes. Push boxes aren't supposed to be able to go through each other, but every now and then they could. Push boxes are the things that normally prevent characters from walking through each other. When a push box bumps into another push box, they will not intersect. Instead, one of the characters will move the other character. Push boxes are only otherwise used in grabs. I think push boxes are the thing that are grabbed.
サブでね使える人がいればね多少なるかもしれないけど、でもレアキャラのね部分になってくると厳しいよねやっぱね。もうさすがにできないですね。
Super selection would be fine, but the thing about Street Fighter 5 is that every super does everything, so it would be very, very difficult to add second supers for anyone. Supers are very, very multi-purpose. There's only a few characters who wish that they could do something with their super that they can't currently. Like maybe Laura wishes she had a super she could juggle into. Although not really, because like, if you're juggling you probably just used a bar.
いやいやいやいやいや、だってさ、あれだよ、ラウンドアーチくれてもさ、なんか無敵技ねえしさ、最速の技がだってさ、
唐草とついになるじゃないですか。もう何の話してるんでしょうね。
やべえ、でもこれやっぱりキャラさ、これ
キャラ差ありますよ。
DDP さんちょっと早かった系かなと思いきや、
タックスさんがそこで
しっかりキャラ差で咎めていく。
Yeah, lower chip killing would be another example.
キャラ差さある。
It would be better to have multiple supers where you had
あ
both supers all the time,
ーキャラ差
and then they just divided up the things that each super does between the two supers.
3段ぐらい。
Make one super the better super in some places and the other super the better super in other places.
ギャランドゥスネークを選択。
これもやっぱりエレナ有利だと思いますけどね。
これもなんか地上のね、通常技のね、相性が悪そうでね。
It would be kind of neat if we had like a 2-bar super and a 3-bar super though.
そんな気がしますね。中足で差し返せるんですかね。
That'd be a really good way to do it. All existing supers are really good, so they're 3-bar supers. So they just add some much weaker supers that only do like 200 damage, and they make them 2-bar supers. Then everyone has a 2-bar super and a 3-bar super they choose between. But the 2-bar supers like don't work in as many places.
あっという間に1ラウンド取って。
Like you can do maybe like, you know,
あ、うまい。
maybe Rashid can do like all of a sudden if with his 2-bar super he can't do like light mixer into super.
投げとラウンドアーチだけでもうだるい。これ
He has to like use other setups.
だけでこれさ、
He has to juggle into it or something. Stuff like that would be really fun.
おおできる。
Armstrong is a pretty good one.
うん。
あれでも安全。
まあ、うん。
確かになさそうですね。
そうだね。あんまないかもね。
剣とかだと勝利で切り返せますけど。
そうだよね。あれ空中に浮いてるから。
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. I'm just thinking about it right now.
もしかしたら EX の
That way they could, like, the fact that every super does everything, it would be a lot easier to work around because you just make the supers do less.
まあそうだよ
You just make a super that's just worse, but it costs like much less meter. But then also you'd only be able to hold 2 EX bars at a time, so that would be another consideration you'd have to make.
あれがもう結構それだけで
That'd be kind of
フル
fun.
ボタンフルボタン手伸ばした瞬間多分あれ潰れますからね。あれ
And
は
then maybe make some little niche ways that the 2-bar supers can do stuff that the 3-bar supers can't.
どっかでビリビリ当てたいね。そんで画面端から逃さないです。
Like Kimmy can't do her 3-bar super after target combo into light spiral arrow in the corner. But maybe her 2-bar super would be like an upward, like a DP style thing, like her vertical, her DP super from Alpha that went straight up.
タックスがワンチャン
And it's like, she can juggle her 2-bar super there, which her 3-bar super doesn't do. Stuff like that.
小径強いです
盤
ね。
石。
Like little ways that the 2-bar supers would be unique as well.
正義が破れるはずがないと。正義は必ず勝つんです。それがサードストライク。さあザマさん
There's so many ways to make Street Fighter V a much better game.
エレナ
I'm kind of eager to see which one that Capcom does, but that is of course immediately assuming that they do in fact make Street Fighter V a better game.
前動画で
That was a fine combo.
時よりだいぶ強くなってますね。
He didn't need to extend it at all.
やってるかもしれない。
That combo is quite easy.
もしかしたら俺も
なん
今
か全然動きが違うんでちょっとびっくりしました。
今の原毛さんとかね、
That's
結構
true.
安定感あったもんで。
はい。差し合いも結構差し返しで技振ってるんで。
That's a punish. He maybe could have made it a little bit, well, not safer, but he maybe could have fucked up Ken's punish by going for the EX spin scythe follow up.
あーっとこれおうまい。
But if Ken was doing a reversal super, or even just a
ザマさん
reaction crouch medium kick, he could react either
1ラウンド目ちょ
way.
っとサクッと取られて心乱れたかと思ったけど、2ラウンド目はしっかり落ち着いてきまし
ゲージ状況も
I think Capcom knows that the game is in a kind of bad place.
剣側にとっても有利な状況です。
I think they're working on something big, probably.
た。こういうね、置き詰め。
I don't want to be wrong, but I also confess the possibility that I might be wrong. But they're probably working on something big. Capcom is very classically bad at making first versions of games, and very good at making subsequent versions of games. That might be too far. No, it might work.
これは確認できるんですね。
Ooh, you got the DP at the end too. What you can get after that super, you have to be in the corner, and you can get different follow-ups depending on which character you're fighting. I don't know if you can always even get a DP, but sometimes you can get stuff that's better than a DP, particularly if the super will stun. I think that super doesn't do a whole lot of stun, so you have to basically stun the opponent and then go into the super, but then you can get like a pretty nice juggle out of it on some characters.
我々売名するために配信を
配信に
はい
顔出されたんですか。
はい三上さんと OE で遊んでる時に
Someone mentioned automatic V-triggers, and I thought that was a pretty good idea.
俺たち売名
Remember
した
Jin
から
Sao
配
Tome?
信してくれっつって
Remember how he had like a hyper mode he would automatically enter when he was at low enough
そ
health?
んなことないそんな有名じゃない
I thought that shit was kind of cool. I'd like something like that.
もっと俺も RB
Imagine if Ryu's Satsui no Hado, imagine if you just got to like below like 30% health, he just like automatically just went into the animation.
やっぱね
Like as soon as he recovered from something, it was just like
配信しません
void,
よこっちは売名し
and it had like no recovery, or rather it had like it was the same as waking up normally.
さあまあでもね若干ね OE とね実際のゲーセンでのね
Maybe it gave him a little bit of extra time to react to meaties,
はい
OE は OE なりにいい部分が僕は
but like you couldn't hit him.
まあお
結構なんだろうな。
Imagine how tight that would be though.
多いんでそこをどうカバーするか。
And then like Evil Ryu is like significantly improved.
でまあいい練習にはなりますよねはい
I guarantee you the Ready X Flash is going to be something akin to an FADC.
だからねゆっくりできるっていうね自分の
It will be some new combo system. Alright, I'm calling it here. Someone save this for posterity.
大きいですね。
Someone put a timestamp to this video with an approximate summation of what my idea is. And then put this video somewhere so that when it's revealed I can be right.
うわー
They think that there's not enough combo variety in the game.
それは
And they're adding a new cancel
信頼が確定です。
that has some requirement that we don't know yet. Maybe it's 2 bars, maybe it's a V-trigger bar. We don't know.
さあファイナル
But it will be some way to combo things that can't presently be comboed.
天才天才現る
Or maybe just cancel things, like for defensive reasons. It's going to take aspects from a focus attack, but it's not going to be a focus attack.
おお
I don't think it'll have armor or anything like that. I don't think it'll have like the focus attack along with it. I think it'll probably purely be a cancel.
さあこれはちょっと待ってタックスさん落ち着いてます
That is my prediction based on that animation and based on what the devs think is currently missing from the game. Based on what that appears to be. The most likely thing is some kind of Roman cancel that uses like some requirement that we don't know yet.
さあタックスさん
うなぎさん強かった。
親顔です村田さん
関東ユリアン何人いるんですか。
Yeah, it could be some completely unique attack that Zeku uses.
半端じゃないよ半端じゃない
20人ぐらいいるんじゃないですか。
Some unique mechanic to him.
本当にね
We don't know what his
今
mechanics
表
are
でや
yet.
ってない人とかも
Fong
いるけど
has a thing that turns EX colors different.
恐ろしいですね。
はいやっぱそれだけこのキャラ
Fong makes it so your EXs turn orange if you're poisoned, for example.
そうですね。やり込みがいのあるキャラだとは思いますけど。
やっぱ練習したら練習した
Like
分
red.
だけね帰ってくるよねそのコンボとかさ
So it's not out of the question that someone could have something that uses a unique EX color.
俺多分ユリアン使いになってたよ
僕の動画ってどこにあるんですか。その話がわからない。
俺も動画
Or rather necessitates a unique EX color.
ユリアン使うもんなだってあんなんやられたらさ俺もやりてえって思うやっぱそういうなんか魅力があるよねやっぱユリアンはね
まあそうですね。コンボも面白いですし。
I think that they've made. I think we can already technically infer what it is that they're
パ
adding.
ワーを感じますね
I don't think that anyone can make a super good guess yet, or I feel like it's going to be obvious retrospectively. But I think that Abigail and Menat and maybe Ed,
逃げらんない
I feel like a bunch of characters that have been introduced rather recently are designed around it.
ここは
I feel like they know what they were going to do when they were designing those
希望
characters.
だった
ちょっと確認して中足安定
I feel like that whatever mechanic is, it like the new characters
さあ
they have that in mind.
ゲージがないです
マ
ね。
ジで
It might be a defensive mechanic of some variety, perhaps a defensive Roman cancel.
ダックスさん仕上がって
Do something unsafe, cancel it to this red
ジャン
EX.
プにラウンドアーチ
Um,
いやでもそれ最強だと思いますよ。
それが
and that's why maybe Abigail and Menat
でもヘッド出しても勝てない
have kind of lackluster defensive options, and I guess Ed as well.
今安定だったんだ
At least Ed has invincibility even if it's shitty.
これはやばいよ
It could be like, oh well, you know,
盾を発 としてて、
硬いですね。肘。
おーっと肘が入ってホームランしっかり張っていく。
これを飛びたがると。
Minot and Abigail, it looks like they currently have kind of bad defense, but maybe they actually have good defense with this new mechanic. Or rather, par for the course defense. If that was a super, though.
ちょっと助かった。
Oh my god, scary. Nice, chipped out.
お前どんだけ
That was a chip,
運がいいんだこれ。タックス。
いやー、もったいなかったな。
タックスもやりたくない。お互いにやりたくないっつってるけど、これどっちが強いんだ。まあお互いにね、ニュートンとかでもね、絶対やってるはずなんだよ。ビギナーズ大会もちろん。
Nice. Background House is really good against Makoto, to be honest.
太平さん情報によります
It's
と
good against some of her pokes, and it's good against her
デビュ
grab.
ー戦は一緒だったというね、このお二人。
ライバルみたいなもんです。
Theranos too.
もしかしたら
Wow, thought they were gonna
でも
connect.
お互いがお互いライバ
With
ル
Oro,
だ
he
と
doesn't care even a little bit whether he hits grounded or airborne there. But most characters, it matters a lot.
そういうことは負けられない
You can ATR parry and then get a low punish. Or no, I shouldn't say low. You can get a punish on their landing, but it's very precise to time. And it depends on where the opponent attacks.
差し返し
If the opponent attacks really early in their jump and you parry them, they can potentially return to a normal state and then land and block immediately, like a pre-attacking state. If you get air parried, you'll eventually return to a pre-attacking state, which is why you can get air parried and then attack
おここはまあ
again
最
whilst in the same jump.
なるほど。
画面端へ。
And if they attack too late,
おー
if they attack super late in their jump and you parry it, you'll recover from the parry like as they're landing, so you won't be able to get their recovery frames. So basically, it depends on when they hit their button,
このラウンドを取れれば
but you can react during the parry freeze when you anti-air parry them.
のあるシャガー大パンでしたね。
はい
You can be like, oh, this is where they were when I parried them,
そう
and
でも
determine
あそこ
whether
ね
you have a follow-up grounded
浮
combo.
いてバコーンってしゃがみくらいするっていうね、
It's all rather specific.
結構ね危ねえは危ねえんだよね。
As Zoro, I don't have to care about that at all, because if I parry and they land and I stand strong, it's safe. And if I hit them before they land,
バグ技ですね。
it has identical juggle
こ
potential.
のキャラどんだけバグってんだよこのキャラ。
ちょっとタックスさんの順番間違えてるんじゃない
I still have to react a little bit because if I want to go straight to chicken combo, I have to visually determine that they didn't land and can block.
これが
They have to either be hit like still midair or during their
エレ
landing
ナに
frames.
対しては立ち台パンとタックルだと。
I know how to do it a little bit. Or I shouldn't say a little bit, I know how to do it.
適当に
But like,
立ててコンボ使う と
my character has to worry less about it than most other characters.
EX サックル確認。
おーさあでもこれ
Yeah, my favorite matchup in any Street Fighter is Aura versus Urien in this game. And one of the reasons I like it so much is because weird, unique scenarios happen literally every
あ
round.
れでもマレットを
I've been playing that
振る
matchup
ったら
like
肘
a lot
バグんないんすか
for like, you know, 10 years.
ちょっと距離が離れてたら。
And
距離によるか
still, every couple matches, I get some scenario that I've never been in before.
もう割り切って立ち台パンにするしかないかも。
A video may enjoy.
立ち台パンを振ることによって今のそのしゃがみ
I don't know what this
中盤みたいのを意外と潰
Dearest
せたり
Fair Eye,
する
son of
そうです
God.
ね。相手の行動を抑制できると思います。立ち台パンで。
なるほど
I need a good reason to watch
ちょっ
this
と切れてますね。
まあゲージ持ってる
On
相手
stream.
にタックルはちょっと危険ですね。あとは
あーピヨタ
That's GG.
でんでんでん
He was a laner player, though.
ヘブン2期。
ヘブンさんおこです。
That was a P, and he's got a pretty good streak going.
次は
次は。もし
It's alright.
あれですね、ちょっとチャット
This
勢
isn't
が
Tomi, is it?
若
It's
干
too early, and he's on the wrong
マイナス
side.
かかってますね。いや、そこじゃないですよ。
Kuzu-san.
1P チームなんでね。
あ、これは正義ですね。クズさん。
そうですね。
Not
藤さん
Tomi.
正義の色ですね。
あー狙いは良かったんですが。
そうだね。あれ
I don't know whether it's stronger to go for towards medium kick or light DP there.
おー、うまい。
結構離れてましたけど、スーンですね。先
多分今
端だったけど。
大唐草ですね。
Neat.
唐草
Elena's one of the characters. I didn't know that. I know Dudley's one of the characters. Makoto can. Some characters lean over in their stun animation, which lets the hitbox of Makoto's up punch hit them on the ground.
そうなんか
I did not know Elena was one of them.
大体入るね。大体。まあでも入んない時もあるけど、でもそれはちょっと出し方ミスってるかなみたいな。
That was like a 50-50 with Karakusa, to be
そんな気
honest.
はしますね。
Very deadly scenario. Good
まあ
punish.
まあまあ、それでもいいですね。
Elena's still in this, but it's bad.
さあでもこっから
He
の
needs a lot more
タック
connects
ス
than
ラッシュ
Makoto
が
does.
始まる技相性ね、あんま良くねえんだよ。
ちょっと
Kuso can mean like shit.
これは電話ですね。
Kuzu? I don't
こ
know.
れはねカプコンさんにね
もうメールじゃダメだね。
I don't know what that
メールじゃ
means.
ちょっと伝わらないですね。これ直接怒りの電話をかけて。
Wow, that Samurai House and that lower house. That was some weird wonky hitbox interaction.
なんやねんと。
その前に誠のダブル吹き上げなんとかせ
Both of them failed to hit each other, and then
仕様です。
あれをしよう
Elena's hurtbox appeared in Makoto's hitbox
ユ
animation
リアンも何も
before it could go back.
ここは痛み分けです
ユリアム
It
確
was
かに
very strange.
バグバグです
It's a well-spaced universal overhead.
あれも仕様ですって言われる。
公式バグ
I think Elena can link like a low short after that, but it's risky. Or it's not risky to try and link the low short, but it's risky to try and cancel the low short.
冷たいフレーズが返ってくる。
冷たいな
Wow, the dash under to the background
だ
house.
と思いますけどね
もう終了してるんです。
That's no one's gonna block that.
マジかよ。
Either they tech throws and they get hit, or they don't tech throws and they don't react to the block.
8
I mean the new direction.
完全に
Waste or scrap. Neat.
さあ赤ガエル先輩これはしっか
Dude,
り
can
守
anyone
ってい
beat
こ
this
う。
Elena?
ただ
Now that I want him to
や
lose.
っぱりみんな嫌そう
I actually want his streak to go forever.
アレックス。
I want him to I want all 5 of these videos to just be this Elena beasting.
あの
今フライングクロスチョップがラウンドアジ
This is Akagaeru.
もうこれは
絵面がやばいっす
もうなんでも勝てるじゃねえかよその技っつって。
Neat. Only one cancel. I mean only one parry. Oh! He could have hit the button a little later and hit Elena on the ground. Unfortunate. Tick throws are hard to get out of in this game and not really worth getting out of.
赤ガエル。
あー緑
It's
まで
better to
行った
just
ね
get thrown most of the time.
これな
Things that get you out of throws are they open you up too much to other things that are much worse to
ピ
eat.
オレバピオレバ
That parry was very important because Elena was gonna get stunned and juggled and then killed.
何 RB
He's holding this. It's really difficult against Alex to come out of a stun scenario.
来ました
This might kill. Nope, not
赤
quite
ガエ
enough.
ル対タックスが始まっ
I
た
thought it was gonna dizzy. I didn't think it was gonna kill via damage. I just thought it was gonna
ど
stun.
ういうチーム
but it
編
didn't.
成なんですか
今これで
今日 RB はやったんですか
最後です
RB1P 側で
that
RB チ
hitbox.
ームとでそして
Delete.
2P 側で大変
Delete this. I've like barely gotten any practice with Minot in. I've only done the Minot B and B. I haven't like played against anyone since the Minot Cup. And granted, I did pretty well in the Minot Cup, but if I enter tomorrow's BAF Cup, which is an ordinary BAF Cup with Minot, there's a good chance I'm going to get my shit pushed in. But I think I'm going to do it anyway.
あのはい出させてもらってました
さあ RB も、ついにやる気を出して東京にまで
I'm kind of okay with getting my shit pushed in a BAF Cup.
あやる気ないがあなたがやる気ないの俺か
やる気ないんですか
あやる気ないの俺だったのか
やる気はあるんじゃないでか
ですも俺戻ってきたんですよついについに戻ってきました
さん痩せましたね
あだから
You don't see that very often.
体型も
It's very
戻して
unsafe.
現場にも戻ろうと
Much better off using the other two.
現場
The opponent has to wait to watch to see whether you're going for the hard one. And will probably not punish your medium or light one.
そうですね作業員になりにいました僕も
Architects. Denjin, I think, is the only one that does stun.
いきなりやったんですけどボスさんの号機に結構スコスコされて
嘘
But it's kind of irrelevant.
またまたまた
いやいやスコスコされましたよ結
あ
構
そう
は
まあボスはボス
Alex is so
い
scary.
いきなり6連敗して
Look at that stun rack up.
あボスにどこはあったまったのがいいって
いい意味のあったま
ああ
った
そういうことですね
Early jump jab.
さあ阿部ラットリー登場ということで、
はい
ちなみに今九州の現場では
はい
He controlled space really well.
九州の現場ではどんな感じでサードストライク行われてるんですか
そうですねまあ個々の現場作業員が頑張ってるような感じですね
個々の現場作業員が結構頑張ってる
頑張ってます
5時ぐらいから現場作業員
そう
が出てくる
ですねいや5
感じなんですか
時じゃ言わないですねもう9時から5時
With how slow Greer helps recover since Street Fighter V, if there was a super like that, it would basically be the same as losing the
交
health.
代作業員が
交代作業員
だいぶ南の方に下がってしまったっていうことで
彼はですね
だいぶなんか大変なこと
One
になって
hit,
るって
two
出航
hits.
しましたね
That was the right play.
出航した
出航しました
Surprised he didn't go through with it. It was clearly going to be a bunch of parries there. He got the first one, then not any of the subsequent ones.
はい
He might have done parry into delayed parry, trying to catch like Snamron House into short swing blast,
出航しましたね
and then the immediate parry fucked him
今
up.
大分で配信とかもやってるので
はいはいはいはい
Alex gets punished for that parrying there.
ちなみに今福岡自体はどこでやってるんですかグリーンですか
僕はグリーンでやってますね。まあでもあんまり最近人いないんで。
グリーンもあんまり人がいない。
Supers don't need a buff, even if they're not seeing a whole lot of use. They're fine as is.
だって RX の勝ち上げより嫁の勝ち上げが怖いもんな。
それは間違いない。
そうだよね。
まあその話は置い
I
ときます。
kind of like the slower gray health.
じゃあ集団狙いで今
I think it's a really interesting solution, but they went too hard.
週2とかじゃないですかね。
でも週2ぐらいで
It's too
集まって
extreme.
やるの。
I want something between season 1 and season 2.
まあ集まれればやるっていう感じですけど、基本的に金曜日
Or
は
maybe not. Maybe season 1 is fine, but the fact that normals do gray health I like.
この犬さんチュンリーが
They didn't need all those changes. You didn't need both.
望んでいってる形なんですけれども、
はい
九州はチュンリーいないですよね。今。
今高尾さん
ああ、高尾さんが龍から
That throw was a bit awkward. He expected his jab to whiff.
とあと熊本に
高見さんがいる。
まあスト4で有名な
ゾウさん以外に
Alex is still in a super good position, but he could die to a
チ
super.
ュンリー使いになりましたか。
But he's just gonna block low anytime Chun-Li's close.
まあだってね、
一つ用が
He had to get thrown like 4 times in order to die. More like 5.
成長スピードで
So he could play it really safe.
ちなみに九州大会は
はい
もう開催されたんでしたっけ、今年は。
開催されましたね。
開催された。
無事に、デシケン様のチームが
はい
優勝されました。
あ、デシケン様のチームが優勝されましたか。
Nice, he got the back turn. Didn't do anything with it.
なんかデシケンさんはもう消化されたっていうその優勝で消化されたっていう話を聞いたんですけれども、
消化され気味かもしれないけどわかんないですね。まあそこは僕が触れていいのかもわからないし。
人をやめて、神人と書いて、そういった存在。
I like shit being able to stun without knocking over.
神人
実力者が
Like in Street Fighter 3, because then not every stun is useful.
ちょっと僕気になるので見たいです。
Sometimes if you stun someone with a trade, they can shake out feasibly.
あんまりこうシーンには出てこないですけど、現場には出てこないですけれども、
現場ですね。
出てこないですけれども、その実力はあまり落ちることなく、まあフリーダムよく
Shaking out is basically a non-factor unless one player makes a mistake.
横浜ですか。結構
Bit
遠い
awkward.
ですね。
まあ元々多分
Here instead.
そっちの方面なんじゃないかな。
今日は
アーケードは逆にその現場今
Those strike stun combos should touch his
そ
foot.
うですね。
They're a great opportunity to show off.
何回聞いてもちょっと面白いな。現場
じゃあちょっと一番現場にいる男にですね、やっぱりマイクが変わりたいと思いますの
Unblockable.
で、ちょっと僕サードやりたいんで、
Extra meter.
待ってください。
お前何
現場作業員。
お前何
現場作業員
やりたい放題やなお前なお前サードでもリアル立ち回りでも本当にやりたい放題だよな
Oh, that was awkward. Worked. That mirror placement's good.
俺と
See how it wasn't hitting him at all for the first like chunk of the animation, but then right at the end it started hitting him.
いや俺
That's like a best case scenario, I think. That's like a best of both worlds for Urian.
何教わったんだろう
That mirror had a very small chance of doing anything super useful, but a decent chance of doing something moderately useful.
大変に任してやろ
You couldn't get unblockables with it
そし
because
た
he
ら
was
お
on the
前
wrong
に
side.
クレーム行くよ多分
In this game, mirrors always push away from the side that Urian
お
throws
前
them
何
from.
トクラ買った
So Urian has to put up the mirror and then get on the other side.
青井さん
You'll see that.
これ
Like right here, he's gonna need up.
うまい
あ、いいですね。ちょっと惜しい。
That crutch boost is normally unsafe, but Alex pumped
うまい
it.
ね
Oh, he had a combo
あれ
there.
咎めること
Jumping
できな
combo.
いんだ
めちゃくちゃ
Most Urian players wouldn't be ready for a combo like that.
すごいあー
上手。
安全
Nice.
うわ、しかも上なんですね。
しっか
しっかり
り上で。
めちゃくちゃ画面見てますね。
青井くんうまい
僕、
はい
新田さん。
新田俊礼ですさあ俺はこれあんま見たことねえかもあでもちょこっとあるかたまに使うかな新太くんさあ
新田さん何でも使えるんですね。
何でも使います
いや、あれめちゃくちゃうまくないですか。
うまい
見ました。
あれ
We. Well, he stopped.
MOV さんやってるやつ。
そうそうそうそう
Urian technically could have punished that, but he had to react to where the stop was, and then he couldn't get like crutch fierce or anything. I think he was too far away, so he would have had to do like. Yeah, look at that
とか
setup.
もねやってるの見たけど
He would have had to do like
面白かったしだからコンボテクはねかなりのもん
like
です
Sin
よ
strong, and he wouldn't have had charge.
素晴らしい
So
これは
he basically had nothing to do after that
必要
parry.
ないですね、ユリア
He was good going for the
でも
parry.
人差し入れば
ゲージを
He got some meter out of it.
素晴らしい外パンのやっぱ置きがねこういう
Instant
ところで
blocking.
ね
Is that like just defend?
さあ投げが入るとヒヤッとするがマジか
コパンをやると死んじゃう。
コパンを押すと帰ってこなくなるか。さあ厳しい。
厳しい。
だけど2マックスあるよ。
2マックスだけどユリアンは死なない。
Oh,
まだ死
that
な
whiff
ない。
punish.
これはまだ安全です。
He needs landing both supers is not enough right now. Yurian has a lot of HP
おーブロって投げが
in general, but also right then.
強いですね。
強い。葵さん。そう。
The opponent can kind of throw caution to the wind after a point.
東京の攻略。
Suddenly's mix-up isn't super scary when she can land both supers and you'll still be winning. You don't have to respect her grabs at all.
しゃがみ中盤ってちょっと前に進むやつだよね。
And if she does land both supers, you don't have to respect her buttons at all.
差し返し余裕です。
なるほど。
まあ使いますけどね。
はあはあはあ。まあ離れ
You
た
can
と
just
ころ
weigh
で
your
上
resources.
ソニをそれでくぐるみたいなそんな感じ。
多用は禁物です。
This is what they call a good matchup. I don't know, it's good.
まあそうですね。
It's like 5-5,
さあこれは
but Remy controls space a lot better than Yurian does.
わからん殺し
Yurian has burst damage, I guess,
葵さんは間違いな
but
く
he only has contextual burst damage if he actually has bar or good screen position
よくわかっていない
and a really good hit.
そんなに対戦経験はなさそう。
That was good charging.
そうこれなん
That
で
was
す
a good escape.
これは
I do that escape sometimes.
ユーザーの高確率
Up forward, then parry.
はあはあは
He faced the other way when he parried, but he
中
didn't.
スピアとか
like
大スピアとか
あー上でホームラン狙うと。
He just parried to the right, I think.
中盤を着地に置くっていうのも手ですね。
The TC.
おー裏に回ってる。すげえ。
That TC launches the opponent a little bit higher than a single normal would, I think.
やばいこれ
That
は
was tight.
時間もねえ
And they used
し
it for the cross under.
どうにかこじ開けたいですね。あ、いけますねこれは。いけますいけます。あー危ない。あーやったよ。
やっちゃった
助けて
やっちゃった
助けて。
そっか。
ちょっと。
If I were him, I wouldn't even like
さあ
hit
カップに出
Urian.
ませんと。
No, he'll get more meter by hitting Urian. He should kill
なん
him.
でこれなんか相手攻撃し
Yeah.
相手攻撃してこ
That
な
was
い
pretty
よ。
optimal.
ですね5秒で殺しました。
I talked about this recently in another video where it happened,
どうにかこじ開け
but
たい
in certain contexts, if Remy gets neutral throw on Urian
あー危ないあー
and then gets hit out of his neutral throw,
やっちゃった
Urian gets locked in position, and then Remy
助け
can.
て
Urian is stuck until Remy hits
助
him,
けて
so Remy can use the time to build up
ちょ
some
っ
meter.
と
縦
これさ
うん
カッコに電話せんと。
これは電話
Pretty
す
funny.
ごいいいやつですよね。なんでこれなんか相手攻撃し相手攻撃
It's
して
probably
こない
the.
優しいですね5秒で殺しました。
あ本当。
優しい。
あもうちょっとゲージ
It's
を貯め
probably
なが
one
ら
of the most broken things in the game.
ああそういうこと。まだ人の心が残ってたね。
It's not common by any means. It's only in this one matchup, but it's like very clearly a glitch, and it's a glitch that's definitively good for one player,
いいんですけど
and it can reasonably be set up in a real match, while both players are doing optimal things.
危ないっす
あは
あとハサミに普通に
Like the Urian still wants to get those left-right unblockables, but he runs the risk that Remy's gonna get that kind of parry.
なんかしようとするとバグっちゃうんだよね。
バグっちゃいます。
あそこで肘とか別に
Nice
中
block
足とかそうい
string.
うのだったら大丈夫。
まあでもあんまやんなくていいかもしれないですね。もうヘッドで浮かしてウェイズでダメージ取った方が
なるほど。
まあ
そのまま
メリットはあるかもしれない
押してっ
ですね。
てみたいな。
I should have highlighted the last time that glitch happened. I didn't.
あーこれユー
I don't remember what video it was in.
これは抜けまお
やはり今の
危ね
1ラウンド
どうなんのあれどうなんの
I think they removed that glitch for online edition, because I tried to find it in online edition and I couldn't get it to work. I'm pretty sure it's just off of Remy's neutral throw when there's a meaty mirror.
おー
Pretty sure it was fixed for online edition.
魂のタックルからのエイジス。
It's a funny glitch.
さあファイナルラウンド。これは葵くん
Freeze Urian. Spend as much time as you want to building meter. Just before the time runs out, get a full jumping combo on Urian.
ゲージがちょっとないけどおー
Ooh, I rarely ever see that combo.
投げ読みの
You can't combo into EX Gold Blue Kick conventionally.
使い方できるんですねあれ。
He has no cancel that will combo into it. Remy has, like, I think his close fierce cancels. But I don't think his close fierce will combo into any Cold Blue Kick. Cold Blue Kick is a very strange move. It basically defies combos, and it's very much parry bait. Remy can use it to move around a little bit. You can approach while keeping charge with it, for example. But it moves too far that that's really super useful. It's a very committal button. And if he gets parried, you're fucked. And I think it's always minus. It might... certain versions might be punishable. It feels punishable. Sometimes Remy just blocks afterwards, and sometimes he gets hit. I can't tell. Maybe some versions are punishable. Maybe it always is punishable, but I miss the timing sometimes. I almost never fight Remis who use it.
青井さん
いやでもよかったよ
Most Remis are just all about those lighter virtues and maybe the occasional flash kick.
島さんさあこれで
Rising Rage
こ
Flash.
こで暴力島レミー戦の話する島さん
Jump Fierce crosses the juggle state.
しようぜさあ島さん最近サードも復活したんですよ島さんが
いやーなんか感慨深いですね島さんを見れるっていうのは
プレミアだ
Good
よ
charging.
ね
プレミアですね
Charge during the
みんな
cold blue
島
kick.
さん待ってあれだけ島さんサードやろうぜっつって今まで言ってたんだけどいや俺はもう引退したよってずーっと拒否されてた
Fireballs don't build meter in this game until the opponent blocks them. You don't get meter for just throwing a fireball.
なんか最近質問
Which also means if the opponent parries a fireball, you don't get any meter.
クーペのチームが決まったらしくてクーペに出ますよ
Which means there's no actual advantage to throwing fireballs that don't hit the opponent.
はいやっぱりその今までのブランクを早めの調整で埋めていくスタイル
Ah,
なんでしょう
numbers. I think it's one of those moves you can space too. So you can get like a deep one that's a little bit safer.
さあ
That's only unsafe against lights though, for the most part. So I could punish it with auras like TC, but getting like stand strong probably wouldn't work because I think that's like 6.
だけどまあどうやって近づくか近づければもう勝てるんですけどただユウさんのこの処理能力が高いんでおー
I think I knew they were all minus.
島さ
あの人
ん
I guess you could probably space the X1 to B+.
どこ行ったんださあ
Guess what I ate today, guys? I had Cracker Barrel mac and cheese. The box I had made 4 servings. And I made 1 box, and I ate half of it for lunch and half of it for dinner.
半端じゃないですねあでもわかります
12,040 calories
俺もスライド引き上げを
of
練習
mac
して
and
た時
cheese.
右手の
That's all I ate today.
右手の甲が痛くなったこの辺が
Not a good day for me.
右手の甲が痛くなるね
I had like a banana too.
みんなやり込んでるんだよなさあ続いてそれがカロリーヌさん
I mean, we technically don't know it's Zeku.
まあ若手の
Yet.
ユリアン使いですねいつもはミカドとかでプレイしてる
I think the leak that said Minot also said Zeku, so Minot kind of confirmed Zeku, didn't it?
まあねこれをね多分後でカロリーヌ君もね見返すんでねそのユリアン神である
Crook, what are you doing away?
このアドバイスみたいなのがね
Go to sleep, dude.
あればねえ何かしらのアドバイスをと思ったけどこれしかもレビー戦で結構難しい
Garda, the silhouette does look like Garda. Yeah.
ストレスからの解放さあ下段が入って
I think Minot's name was only in the leak. She's not a previously established character. Her first appearance ever, her first reference ever was
ちょっと
Ed's
遅らせ
story
た
mode,
みたいな感じだったね今
where I think she's not named. So I think that did confirm the leak.
はいまあそのタイミングで向こうで選べるからちょっと遅らせたりそのまま、リバースされましたりね
Kion via Bebo Ajas. Rookie.
さあでもこれ苦しそううまいうまいなうまいなんか上から来た時の処理がうまいですね
That was Esperanto. As told your baby
これは
was.
なかなか通らないさあどうなるこのままエントリーを
Kion is like how
され
many?
ると結構きついんじゃねえの
Via Bebo is your baby. Ajas is, I think, to age. How many is your baby age? That's grammatically correct, Esperanto, I promise.
これは厳しい
That was a punish.
マジか
I
これ
think he
は
drops an overhead. Ah, curious trade. He pursued that trade specifically. When you eat your own projectile.
ソニックを使いつつタックルと縦でめり込ましてい
The
く
second jump there was smart.
やっぱパワーありますよこのキャラ
Damn shit, I didn't realize that baby was that
ま
new.
すからねいやいやいやいやいや
It's a fresh baby right there.
どう考えてもこれ事案ですよこれ事案誠パワーあんまないよ
If that baby was frozen meat, it would still be safe to eat.
えあ、そうかも。ユリアンほどのパワーはない。ちょっとあるかもしれないけど。
こんな頑張ってここまで減らしてるぜ。
そうだね。
あなたキャラクター使うんで。
うん。いや、それはその時ゲージがあったら運が悪かったかなっていう。
That might have been a punish on the tackle.
そういう日もあるみたいな。
It's hard to find normals that balance that between the distance you need to punish a block tackle and the speed you need to punish a block tackle. Or I can punish block tackles with a reversal uppercut, hard uppercut.
どういうこと？どういうことよ。やべ、これ時間がね、辛い。うわ。
You probably should have gone for the parry on that super. That super's not very hard at all to parry. And he needs that chip health really badly.
おー、マジか。
Now he's in a shit position.
何もしない。
This is like almost unwinnable.
コンボ
Yeah.
食らっても死なない時間になってたかもしれない。6が、あ、でも死ぬか。ね。これは勝ち確でしたね。
Placeables. Fong with the mines. Brady with the banana.
さあ、お、ここは、今日は、マモちゃん、
I feel like there's another example on Street Fighter 4, but I can't think of it. But like someone. I guess Mirror could be called that technically. I think they thought that Nishiki would be a lot better at controlling space than it is. That's the impression I get from Fong. That being said, Nishiki is really good at controlling space. But I think that they thought it would be better. Jin in Cross Tekken just has the same projectile as Kairi from Street Fighter EX. Kairi did it first. Jin's is better though. Jin sits in place longer than Kairi's did. I like the bitch with the placeables in Nitro Plus Blasters. The line she could draw. That game was extremely tight and I feel like watching some more of it. I might try and find some. Unfortunately, like, I tried to watch footage of it online and I love watching that game be played. But I found like almost all the YouTube footage of it at all. There's like very little high level footage I haven't watched. Which is really frustrating. I ran into something similar in the beginning of Yatagras. I watched all the footage there was. And there weren't that many people making more. Bang is pretty tight to watch. He's one of my favorite Blast characters. From a spectator's perspective. Watching him get that Furin Kazan. And also watching where he places the nails. It's very interesting. Venom, I was blown away the first time I saw him. I was like, whoa, this is fucking intensely tactical. I might, nope. Those good parries. He had to parry like really fast there. Really early rather. So those were harder parries than they looked. That super is like 2 frames, so and like one of the frames is the freeze. So that parry is like a 1 frame window. It's either 1 or 2. He did parry instead of blocking, even though he was grounded, because he wanted to stay safe against if it hit him midair. Because even though he got air reset, supers can juggle there. But he managed to land in time, like by the frame. So he parried just the beginning, and then he reacted to the fact that he was nice cross under. Smart. Keep the corner. Oh, that stun. He did the wrong combo. He could have killed. He had a bar. If he did EX uppercut, it would have dizzied. Anyway, once he saw he didn't need to be parrying, that he could just block and still get the punish, he shifted over to blocking. I did that in a match pretty recently. I didn't know if I would get hit midair on the ground. It was against a Ryu. In like a pretty recent upload I did of me playing Third Strike. So I parried the first like 2 hits, and then I was getting hit on the ground, so I was like, oh. So I shifted over to blocking. It might have been against Tsunokuma actually. It might seem better to just parry the whole thing, but the opponent can approach you. It would have been better for Akuma to parry that entire DP sequence There was no reason he had to shift over to
俺もジュ
blocking.
ース買ってくるわ
It was just
大平
safer.
さんやっといて
RB 君
He
と
could have
ト
gotten
ミニー
taken
が
less
喋りっ
chip
ぱな
and
しというこ
done
とで
more,
代打
gotten
に
more
変わり
meter
ましたちょっと
by parrying the whole
入
thing.
りましたが
Potentially got a
さあ
bigger
エフ
punish.
ル14対12かなり煮詰まっている状況ですが
But there was really no
さあ
need
エフ
there.
さんはルさん大の苦手としておりますがここで肘が通る
That's like the worst possible thing that could happen to him. A mirror would be
さあ西
no
川来た
wrong meter.
さあバーサスでこのコンビか
I was gonna say a meter. A mirror would be not out of the question here.
というわけで割とニュートンでよく見る組み合わせですね
数年ぶりにバーサス来ましたね。
はいいてびっくりした
携帯が壊れなきゃ来なかった
Got
です
at
ね。
least one hit
手
anyway.
に用があったんで来まし
Which is
た。
how many
直
hits
で
you
来
need
たら
for a
かな
hard
り良かったと
knockdown.
はい。
大人気のバーサス東西戦でございますがおいやる今の肘
肘が入る。
I was cleaning up my computer today. I only had like 40 gigabytes free of my 1 terabyte hard
回
drive,
してくるからこれ。
so I deleted a bunch of stuff that, you know, just installed games and whatnot. And I kicked it up to like 300 gigs free.
ストレート
Started putting some shit on my actual backup drive that I have, like, you know, I'm not using.
下が通ってショートでフィニッシュゲージ的にはいい勝負
そうですね。
お互いどっちもやれる感じ
お互い最強キャラです
And while I was doing that, I found a bunch of games I've been meaning to stream, and I was like, damn, I should really stream these.
お互
Like
い
Lost
中
Planet.
盤なんちゃら
I've never played Lost Planet, but I have it.
さあ壁を張って
There were like a bunch. Robotech Battle Cry.
なんちゃらタックルなんちゃら入って
Unforked.
上じゃなくてコンボが痛い
Oh, I like looked at my porn folder. It's only 6 gigs. It's like pretty small. I was like, I've been downloading a lot of porn. Maybe I'll have to move my porn folder over. Nope.
カーに
さあ F さんガッツポーズさあこちらもニュートンで非常によく見る組み合わせ福ダットリー VS 西川ヤンさあ西川いろんなプレイ、キャラ使いますが今日はまあ現状のメインと言っていいヤンで登場
When Yang can do 1 rec into crouch jab and it's good for him.
EX ソロが入って西川優勢に見えたが
Yang is not very
しっか
strong.
りで暴れるチラシソロ当たってる赤狙ってたのかな上り TC 空対空潰したが10番脱筋コーク0ドット10台ボアガード冷静
It's all text.
変身ありましたからね今ボタン
That's high level. Even having porn text at all is high level. Having 6 gigs of porn text is extremely high level. And yet I feel like there's someone out there, or even a bunch of people out there, who legitimately have that.
ショートが通る
This Yang player's name is Nishikawa.
さあ入れ替わるヤン的にはあんまり大きなダメージはなくて済んだがバックステさあ画面足いってしまったリープひっくり返す歩いて投げて壊し壊し
That's
この
probably a
コー
punish.
クはおっせーと本でも言ってましたがそれかくってたか
2 million gigabytes. So 1,000 gigabytes is a terabyte. And I guess that means a million gigabytes is a... Oh shit, it has a name. I heard the name of the 1,000 terabytes for the first time recently.
さんがそもそも息吹に苦手意識を持っているので
I forget what it was.
昔松下にすっこすこにされ
Air
てたの
throw.
で
You don't see that very often in this game.
その辺がどうなるか
松下君ね
Petabyte. Exabyte. Which is it, damn
や
it?
らしいからね
やらしいねおわー飛びが通るバラで重なってなくて投げていくとさあ F ダットリーかなり動けてる感じ4連勝までいけるのかこれは
That's a lot of information.
カニ
You guys know what a byte is?
これは抜けてないちょっとくぐるかと
A
思っ
byte
た
is
が
8 ones or
霞の
zeros.
打点が増した気味でしたねダート
Byte is
DC
short for by 8.
いやーダットリーの暴力息吹逃れられるか
It's 8 binary
It's not a byte.
characters.
これは削りはまだ足りずだが今のエロいねスライディング
お願いがやばいねお願い
I know how different bases work. I can do math in other bases. I know how binary works.
本人もねちょっと痛い顔してましたね
Someone give me a number and I'll convert it to binary.
お願いなんで
Make it a small number though, please.
見てからなんちゃらじゃないですね
さあお願いが通るのかカニーいってこれで
35. I can do that one. Hold on, let me think.
あらまあ
Hold
まあ
on.
ひどい。
勝ったのは F ダットリー
One. Hold on. Let me think about this. It's been a while.
さあ来ました来ましたバナオリ
Okay,
ュ
yeah. 1, 0,
さあ
0,
バイソンとして
0, 1,
名を
1.
馳
I
せ
think.
ているこの男です
Final
が
answer.
東
think
西
that's
線のこの
35.
位置に出てきて久々のサードになるんでしょうかどうなるかコパコア昇竜
Pretty sure that's 35.
ここはブロってるつながらず赤は失敗だが WDC
That's a nice high number right there.
わあここはしっかり反撃速攻昇竜拳無理にいかない灼熱は取ってる投げて
Whoa.
竜巻
That's a good punish, too.
削りきれない2発目当たんなかったですねいやーしかしそこを即判断中盤コークにした F さんがすげえって感じですが WC 飛びが通ってコークまで
Oh, that parry.
綺麗なフィニッシュ
Note that he got stunned and the super still hit. That's why Street Fighter 3 is a good game.
これで5連勝
Give part 5.
I
remember one of my math textbooks in elementary school had a section about like base 8 and like different bases. We didn't do it in the school year. It was just like purely like, I don't know why it was there, but it was there. It was like, here's how math and different bases work. Maybe it was in middle school.
6対4ですね残りがさあもうこの辺りのプレイヤーになってくると勝敗が正直全く分かりませ
Look at all that
ん
damage.
カニ祭りからダッキングアッパ
I only went up as high as pre-cal, to be
ー
honest.
さあそうですねいつまにか逆
If you hit me with some calculus, I wouldn't even know what the hell was going on. If you hit me with some pre-cal, I wouldn't even know what the hell was going on.
かなり優勢だったんで
I
すが
don't even remember what I did in pre-cal. I think there were
さあ気づ
matrices.
いたら逆転レバー
Was that
中
pre-cal?
コークダート
Where do you do matrices?
いやー黙ってやられないのがこの男
The whole time I was doing matrices, I was just like,
中足白熱
what is this for? When do I ever need to add a matrix to another matrix? Math failed to ever tell me what that did.
さあこれで最終ラウンド
It probably does something really important too, but hell if I know.
投げていく画面足さあしかしなかなかチュンリーの前には無理にいけず
Math is really, really bad at telling you what like
競争で画面
what it'll be useful for, because a lot of it's super useful. Or maybe not math itself. More like high schools are really bad. That red parry. That red parry is like riskless there. There's no reason not to always do it. Chun-Li is not gonna landing legs there. She can only Kikoken, which does no damage, or flip, which does no damage. And the parry's not too hard for either one, and also not risky for either one.
中盤ダッキング合計 F ダットリー6連勝さあ大爆発 F ダットリー6連勝で
You got it towards strong there. It's a button that you basically never see.
さあこの連勝どこまで
It's
伸
not a
びる
bad
のか
button.
というところですが
Dudley has a lot of normals, so even
お
though
互いよく知ってる中ではありますが
a lot of them are good, you only see some of them. You only see the best ones. A lot of them are very
さあ正
specific.
のコンボが入る大足で寝かせてダブルアップ気味に
That's
なっ
some good
た
Seiyanbu abuse.
大パン重ねで2発目フィニッシュ
I think I've heard Zeta bite
盤
before.
石の立ち回りでしたね緊急系中足と老星発動は先ほど同
What's
じに
a
なって
Pika
しま
bite?
うの
Is
か
that a thing?
めくり
Are there Pika
裏にジェッ
bites?
パもう一回ジェッパ
Or is Pico like
さあこれが痛
smallness?
手とならなければいい
Rather
が
than, is it down rather than up maybe?
投げてさあ画面足が
Or maybe it's a different scale
ちょ
entirely.
っと寄り切れないさあ白光発動もう
Zambu is really good in this matchup.
歩きながらグラップだがヤンガは圧倒的なペースしかし中盤ダッキングゴーグ
Dudley doesn't reject it well.
前ブロー
Yeah, Pico Bite, spelled like that. I don't know if that's a real thing.
中足発動からの中足。勝
It might be pronounced Pico.
ったのは
I've heard
黒
of a Pico
ヤン。
second. That's probably like picometers.
さあ、タミネことコロスケですが、これで15人目ですね。
It's kind of weird that like we have this non-base time. I shouldn't say non-base, this non-metric
さあ
time.
オロヤン
It's
で
kind of weird everything got
SA は
metricized,
タミヘイは天狗石
standardized except time.
天心選球隊。
Like I get that ultimately time is going to be based around a day, which is a very arbitrary amount of time.
EX ソロ
And we could make a non-arbitrary amount of time, but it would be pointless because it would be less useful than a day.
立ち台形リーチ長いですねあれ。
I get that it's very hard to convert days into years in a way that makes any sort of sense because it's just a very strange number.
立ち中継センターで。さあコロスケかなりやりづらそうだが、溜まった石ゲージをうまく使えるのか。一度中盤入れば6
There have been a
割
couple of
7割
attempts to make metric time, I think, but none of them have caught on. I always thought it was kind of strange. Like we could definitely clean up some of the parts of time. Like we can divide days into something that makes more sense than 24 hours. And then we could divide that into something that makes more sense than 60 minutes.
後ろから投げてフロヤン2連勝。
Yeah, base 10 is arbitrary, to be honest.
16人目と17人目。ここで来るのは
Things would probably be cleaner with a different base. There wasn't 10. Just a little bit cleaner. Maybe base 16. Something divides nicely by 2 repeatedly. But really, it doesn't matter, I don't think. Time's not actually base 60. I don't know if there's a name for how time works. Or there is, but it's not base. Base 60 would be 60 different characters in a single slot.
さあ YSB95 切り返していきたいが、ここでムーンダメージを取るが、画面端が近いのがやっぱ怖いです
It's
ね。
not base 60 either.
いやこの上り、厳しい。こっからこれは当たらない。さあ画面端、ここは怖いエキソロ、圧倒的フロペース。さあリーチで
That's gonna hit him midair. That's like subtly a really good idea to go for the overhead there. Because not only was it an overhead, but also if he got supered, he wouldn't eat that much damage.
危なげなくと言っていいでしょう。黒
Yeah,
ヤン
weird base 60.
さあまさかこの人が今日来てくれました。
Metric is arbitrary.
RX エリア
I'm not anti-metric, I'm actually very pro-metric. But there's no escaping arbitrary.
この後半重要な局面でのヤンユリアン
At
対
the
決。
end of the day, the fact that it's based on water
さあガードフの
is like equally as
ブロッ
pointless.
キング込みでさばいているが
Or
厳
the
しい。
fact that it's based on 10 is equally as pointless. Easy to use
ネッ
though.
トラバルで裏回り。しかし中足灯籠ユリアンペースにさせない。この体力差ありますが、ユリアンゲージ1本、この状況なら相手を殺す状況も作れそうですが、中大ポンギリギリ届く。白子すげえ位置から当たりましたね。
Sometimes I imagine people going into bars and asking for like,
さあ先生はフロヤンタックルと
hey,
して
could I get 5 deciliters of
雨の手前張りになったがダメージ
beer,
取れている。
please?
画面端から逃がさず2枚目。
really funny to me in my head.
テリブル開放で
I would like 5 deciliters of beer. Maybe 50 centiliters.
しっかり上。しかしその後はガードして切り返していく。緊急形スタンに触ってきた。
You know, one thing I've never seen anyone do? I've never seen anyone list a penis measurement in metric.
さあ PA からワンコン決めてじゃあソロ絶対に詰め投げる。強いフロヤン。
I've never seen anyone say, "Oh, my dick is 15 centimeters long."
さあ 1P 側は18人目副将富永ですね。残りは大将 RB を残すのみ。さあ本日九州からお越しになった RB とプロさんやれるのか、トミニーが咎めるのか。
Sticks and volume. That's more useful.
ガードしている。投げてまずは富永誠。
It is a fair measurement.
さあダッシュを投げたのはヤンガはさあ壊しエクストロ前方ループ裏からはさあ投げで切り返した誠がずるいよ潰せ。
CM cubes. I've never heard anyone call them that. I always hear them called cubic centimeters.
旋風当たらず。
Yet CM cubes sounds a lot funnier.
ヤンガは無理に行き過ぎるともう怖いゲージがトミニーに溜まってる。さあこの位置は怖い。
It's usually cubic centimeters or cc's.
投げて投げ返す。いやお互い空中戦の様子状況が多いが体型立っている。剣当たる。これは
The thing about America is that absolutely everything has metric on it. It's just that people ignore it. If you buy a measuring cup, it's gonna have cups and like, you know.
今日ねタイプ C だったぴょんぴょんタイプ。ぴょんぴょんタイプの時はなんか上り蹴りがよくわかった。
It'll say like quarter cup, half cup, 3/4 cup,
お
cup,
互い副将
but
同
then
士
it'll have like metric on the other side,
富永 VS
and people will just ignore the metric.
トミニーがチェン
And it's like that with everything. There will always be metric, people just ignore it. Rulers have centimeters on one side and inches on the other, and people just ignore the centimeters.
どうなるか。しかし1ラウンド目は圧倒的ですね富永ペース。
だいぶ今嵐っぽい声がしかし名前が風呂のままになってますね。
ゲーでペースを取り戻していきたいがこれはノーダメで済んだ。
さあ
中盤ローでしょう。てかメスターさん最近やりまくってますからね。あ
Got
ーっ
him?
とこれは
Got him.
ってない。
Ah,
当たらずだがスタンチはえらいことになってる。
あーこれやばいかも。いや
打ち切ってきた
Tominaga's the
ーいける
best.
よいけるよ。正義は勝つよ。
ー。俺か。
Taihe is the team leader. He's the last one.
これはいやなんか大平さんねたまにあんだよね。こういうちょっときついなっていう組ちょっとてかだいぶきついだろうっていう組み合わせの時に大会とかでなんか今日大平さん勝ちそうだなみたいな時がね。
Is a pint bigger or smaller than 50
それ
centiliters?
を本人がいけそうだなとか思わなければなんか流れに乗って勝つことも全然あります。さあちょっと唐草欲張ったか。さあ歩いて下段はガード落ち着いてる。これはきつい。これは厳しい。
Yake's chop is actually very risky. It's very parry weak.
さあ 2P 側 1P 側か
But a lot of people don't like to parry against Mukuro because of command grab.
なんだこいつらなんだこいつらと思ったら YSB で盛り上がってんの。
ACM.
ハイパンで落とす。いいね。
I said
さあ
50.
これはあれは初段ブロってもキャンセルヘッドと2択なのでどっちにしても結構痛いと。はいでタックルで追い打ち壊し。何壊しって壊しばっかしてなんだよ。ああこれ何回食らってんだ大パンキャンセルとさらにおミスった。お前も何のやってんだおーっとこれあるな。なんかごちゃってきたぞ。いいぞ大平。さあ富永さんがちょっとこれ弱気だぞ。いけるいける。さあおいしい。
About the same.
できない。お前何年差でやってんだ。
Yeah, dude. So you really would go into a
でも
bar
いい
and
よ
say, I'll
ある
have
ある
I'll
ある
have 50
ある
centiliters of beer,
はい
please,
はい
instead of saying I'll have a
マ
pint.
イブロの大平マイブロの大平です。大平といえばマイブロ。
Way bigger.
俺も RB さんみたいな。富永さん俺 RB さんみたいわ。うまっいいよ。
If a
これ
pint's
ユリアンの
40
神様的
centiliters,
なものが降りてきてんじゃないの。
then 50 centiliters is
さあちゃん
pretty
と
close.
クイック取ってさすがあそこでクイック取れば多分はいはいはいはいはいおおー
GG. Tominaga wins again.
正義が守られてしまっ
Exhibition.
正義と何なんだ。
最終試合エキシビション
Against
マッ
RB.
チ富永 VS RB
500
当然
centiliters.
試合となってしまった RB 君ですが、ユリアンとしてはもう間違いなく僕は今全一だと思ってます、このプレイヤー。さあその
でも俺九州の人さ、
はい
みんな富永さん苦手なイメージあるんだよね。
ありますね、なんか、
There's not like
なんか
5
遠征行
liters.
っても富永さんだけ結構多かったりとか、
なんかみんな入ってて結構ドミニが投げ出してるイメージはありますが、さあ先日の九州大会でもおそらくこの2人はやっているでしょう。その辺も加味してですから、両方もらってる。
えらい。はい、
さあその後どうするか。
おータックルタックル。
あーゲージ
Even though people use gallons and shit over here,
そういうことね。
soda bottles are usually called 2 liter.
甘いな
2 liter bottles.
継続あれわざとやったまである。
Usually uses
あ
the
るね
metric.
ワンチャンある。
I know how big 2 liters
セ
is.
ットあたりで殺すかと思いきや、超安全、ゲージをきれいに入ってきて
Centimeters
ゴールに殺すと。
まあゲージためにやっぱ自信あんだろうね。
そう
Isn't that
です
just
ね。
like-
さあこれはダブルは入らず。
Can that translate like
さあ
super
画面端
super
これでも
cleanly
もう
into
スタンチ
volume?
半分なん
相
で
当痛いけどねあれ。
痛い。
I mean, it's already volume, but can it translate super easily into liters?
あごめんあれ肘入んないでしょ。
はいね
Ooh.
まあお互い分かった上で
打ってますね。
そうですね前風呂されてもいいやで、
はい
じゃあ前風呂しようで。
投げたいようの立ちだけでした。さあ最終ラウンド、
さあ積極的に投げいけますね。
お互いゲージはあるが、あーいい反応。
と
さあどういう
ブロックあったか。
テリブルいった。さあガークに行くかどうか。
He's got another mirror. This is super good.
あこれ
Oh, that was a choke.
だと見せかけて
He didn't get
フォローが
punished for it
効い
though.
てる。
That's supposed to
体
be
力
fireball
緑
to
のままだ
super.
が
Oh my god, what a mess.
富永さん
バレてたー。あー足んない。先ゲンジ消えた。
これあるよ。
ある。あ怖い。
あーうまいちゃんと
あータックル通す。
ちゃんとぐらい逃げる。
正義は守られました。勝ったのは RB。
正義は RB でした。
RB でしたね。
いやキャラ差でしょ。
Alright, I've still got 2 more. Let's do this, baby. These ones are short. Probably like 40 minutes left. Ken, Makoto.
1P 黒沢さん、2P 邪魔さんということで、まずは牽制でゲージためたらお互い入っていきます。飛び込んだところに
You go for Kara. This Ken must be some shit to even go for that.
カードはガチ初心者と先ほどキラキーさんから伺いました。
Nice.
なんかまだ半年経ってないぐらいの初心者だそうなんですけど、動きがもうかなりちゃんと剣してますね。
The hard DP.
アップ見てから正直出してますんで、
The hard DP is the one that's least likely to be parried. And they're all about equally risky. I guess the heavy DP is riskier.
見てからずっと潤ってますね、完全に。ここの読み合い
Ah,
光に
CC is milliliter, that's it.
そうですね、背景も黄色いですし、いろいろ黄色いです。
Senti versus Millie.
ちゃんと投げつけを見て、しわしを差し込んでいく。見てますね、画面をしっかり。中盤確認もしっかり決めている。さあ、最後は何で決めに行くのか。削られてもいいが、保険が決まってる。まずは、
Man, you guys are freaking me out.
言っても
I thought it was Millie versus Millie.
やっぱり辛いですか。そうですね。
Man, I don't know.
小娘さんもだいぶ動きがもうこなれてきてますからね。もうちゃんとパスを打って近づいていくっていうのを徹底してます。ちょっと安易に小足を打ってしまうと振られて勝利権が加わってしまうので、数離れず
That was a punish.
リバサ陣内
Reversal super 3 from Ken. It's 3 frames. Gold blue kick is -4. This is actually one of the reasons Ken is very strong. Not only does he have pretty good options and pretty high damage, but also a lot of things that are not supposed to be conventionally unsafe. Ken can punish with super. Because it goes very far, very fast. Half screen in 3 frames. For not that much bar. Ken Super 3, like, it's very boring in the context of this game. It's like not a very interesting super. It's got a neat animation, don't get me wrong. But I like it a lot. It's one of my favorite supers in terms of like functionality. I feel like it's what I think a super should be. Like, yeah, it's a combo ender, and yeah, you can pick up some individual punishes with it, but it's just very low damage for very short meter. You know what I mean? But you have to like kind of be aware of. It's not necessarily a combo ender. Sometimes it's an alternate combo route. It's not like it's just like, oh, I'll do my A, B, and C, and if I have enough meter for D, I'll do D. It's like sometimes it's ABC and sometimes it's ABD. You know what I mean? D being the super in this case. Sometimes you parry and it's like, well, I can do low roundhouse, which is optimal for no meter. Low 40x fireball, which is optimal for some meter. And if you have a super, maybe low forward super, which is optimal for a bar. For a super bar. Ryu isn't really pretty low comparatively. Ryu has like decent matchups even against the top tiers. Ryu's only barely, I mean he's not barely below Ken. But in most matchups Ryu and Ken have almost the same listing. We're usually listed on the low end of the high tiers. Ken is usually listed on the low end of the top tiers. They're probably like 6 characters apart, give or take. Huh? In the juggle? He had a flash kick there. He definitely had charge. That gives you inherent charge. How bad was he on? Define bad. He wasn't like game breaking, but he was the strongest character in the game. He didn't like utterly destroy the game. It wasn't like they needed to patch him as soon as possible. And yet it was pretty obvious that he was like, oh, the parry. That doesn't require red. Why are you gonna go for a parry like that and then you don't even fucking do anything? Back roundhouse over the projectile. It must be nice being a Chun main because Chun's in every game. But also it must suck being a Chun main because Chun's different in every game. The Street Fighter V Chun we have is my favorite Chun by far. She's gotten slowly more playable every single game. Well, I guess she's very playable in Street Fighter 3, but you wouldn't want to play her. She's got nightmarish execution in Street Fighter 2 for anything other than like mash throw or walk forward super. You can play Chun without combos in ST pretty easily actually. If you want to have a no combo Chun, that's okay. Just mash down towards roundhouse. Mash pokes. Throw. Chun is not so hard to play in this game. She's not free. You've got to have good reaction with her confirm, and you need to be able to do that super jump cancel pretty well. But she's very boring. A lot of people don't like playing Chun just for that reason. Like obviously there's the shared common sentiment in this game that Chun ruins the game. But also there's a fairly common sentiment that like Chun-Li is tedious to play. She does a whole lot of nothing, and the stuff she does is a lot of the same stuff over and over. And she's somewhat defensive in a game that's fundamentally about rushing down. Normally with defensive characters, the tension comes from the other player. But Chun-Li is also very good at being defensive. You can high parry the second fireball there. He could have tapped forward twice and it still would have worked. You can also low parry the second fireball. For Remy's EX fireballs, you can parry both fireballs either way. You can do low low or high high for either EX fireball. You get a fire. You get an uppercut here. That juggle is really cool looking. It actually adds an okay amount of damage considering you're spending a super bar. Neat. This is safe. Or I perhaps could have uppercutted. This will kill, I think. It's gonna be close. Yep. That was a good pickup. ATR close strong into first hit close strong. He had to do that juggle. That was the only possible way he could pick up a super there. If he got the second hit of close strong or both hits of close strong, he couldn't super cancel. Or he could, but it wouldn't do anything. That wasn't a punish. I don't think Oro has enough time to dash in and throw there. Lino was quite defensive. Whoa, that uppercut was good. This should stun. Or just kill. This is the Oro that dropped absolutely everything. In the last videos we just watched. Looking cleaner now. Early jump strong. Early air normals will catch people before they're necessarily going for parries. That's Alex's max damage after a dizzy that doesn't use meter. He can also do hard chop into suplex, which I think does right about the same damage. In fact, I think hard chop to suplex does a smidge more, but it's very close. If you have meter, doing a jumping combo into EX flash chop is optimal. And if you have a super, the optimal combo is like jump fierce, stand forward super. And if you've got a whole lot of meter, the optimal combo is that wasn't quite the right combo. Still got the low reset. Jump around, stand forward, EX chop, cancel first hit into super. But that adds very little damage. Reversal something got beat. Probably not. It wasn't a reversal EX uppercut, or else it would have won. And I don't think it was a reversal EX. I don't think it was a reversal stomp because I think immune to blows from the first frame on reversal EX stomp, which means it was either a reversal stomp, I should say. Which means it was either a reversal fireball or a reversal command grab, both of which make no sense at all. That was weird that he got a reversal there. It could have been what it almost definitely was non-EX uppercut. He did reversal non-EX uppercut trying to get out of a grab. Oro's, I think all versions of Oro's uppercut are throw me in. I will probably not play. Well, it's Windows 10, isn't it? I don't have Windows 10. I have Windows 7. I don't want to upgrade to Windows 10. It looks shitty. It looks like they'll move everything I like, and also Bill Gates will spy on me. Both of those sound shitty. I don't even know if it'll make my computer faster or anything. It'll probably make it slower. Oro's Super 3, you almost always see the EX version. Oro's EX Super 2, you don't see that much because it costs a lot of bar, but it does more damage than any other combo he has when he's picked Super 2. So you'll occasionally see it if he needs to close out the round. Oro doesn't pick Super 1 at all. There are, like, you see his EX Super 2 and you see his EX Super 3. Oro Super 1 is usable. It's like probably kind of bad. It's kind of bad. But his Super 2 and Super 3 are two of the best supers in the game. So, hello. Haldo. No, there's more to EX Super 1. Like, yeah, you can only combo it from Crouch Fierce, but there's more to it. Remember that one setup we saw? The Oro got the opponent cornered, and he did stand strong into heavy fireball. No, what was it? What was this sequence? He had like a very strange sequence. I think it might have been like stand forward, heavy fireball into EX Super 1. And the opponent had to jump to get out of the way of the EX Super 1, and they jumped into the heavy fireball. And then Oro could actually, the Super 1 could fully whiff, the EX Super 1 could fully whiff, and Oro picked up the juggle with stand strong. It was a very tight setup. And I can't even see a good way out of it. That's the beauty of it. Jump instant parry might work, but that's quite hard to do. And if you're jumping straight into the fireball like that, it might not work. That might have been just because it was too early, or that might have been the unthrowable frames that Q has. Q has some frames where he can't be thrown between his crouch and his stand. It's not even that he can't be thrown, he's just airborne. You can throw him with air grabs. I'm not joking. You can jump and air throw Q as he's tapping down. The transition period between he can still be hit by lows and shit. By the transition period between crouch and stand, he's airborne. And things that work on airborne opponents will work on him. And grabs will not work on him. One of Q's little quirks. Why does Dorai always have some weird ass shit in his name? Dorai, was that Raishu, something Yama? Is that Raishu? And Takayama? Got him? Got him. This won't kill, this is Q. He's alive. I actually don't remember that Roxy color. Let's try typing Takayama and see if it's Takayama. No, not Takayama. Probably the name of a place though. Some variety of mountain. It's something mountain. It could be a name of a person, but more likely it's the name of a location. Raishu means next week. More specifically, it means coming week. I love me some Hugo. Getting Hugo to waste that bar is a big component of playing against him. I feel like Super 1 is probably Hugo's best super. Although they're all like pretty interchangeably good. Approximately, no one ever picks Super 2. It's better to have Super 3's invincibility or Super 1's 1 framiness and damage. But Super 2's not that bad. The other two are probably a little bit better. Alright, I will. Triple clap I think doesn't work after the Shoryu. It might. Triple clap only works if the opponent recovers crouching, which I don't remember if Ken does after his Shoryu, but I don't think he does. Good punish.
さあできれば大パンチ昇竜陣雷とか最大を持ってきたかったな。ここはまず妥協していく。さあまず2本目取り返す。
Now some good anti-Hugo right there.
ゲージ状況的には
Anyway, triple clap's not even that good if you don't have Super 3. Super 3 enhances your clap combos a lot. I don't even remember if there's anything to do besides the X Lariat after 3 claps. I think it's only EX Lariat. I don't think any of your buttons reach. Super 3 works. It's a bit precise though. Max range like clap into Super 3 is... You have to do a little bit of running. You have to do like a micro run. It's not like really hard, but it's like hard enough that you could potentially drop it. The taunt. Taunt increases damage in the next combo. Goes away as soon as you have a normal blocked, I think. You might be able to crouch forward after triple clap. You can definitely crouch forward after double clap. Darius holding this place really well. Oh, that might be bad. Pretty optimal punish. Hugo's good at trading, so this is not a good position for Ken. It's still better for him than Hugo, but it's like very close. This is like still very winnable for Hugo. There it goes. Early jump jab would have beaten that. Or even early jump strong, which were both okay things to do there. Alright, let's figure out what the hell this video is.
Everybody, this is for the Tension Arcade vlog.
This is that fucking GG baby baby.
My first love story. My angel
Who the fuck is this guy?
and my girls. My sunshine. Let's go. 너무너무 멋져 눈이 부셔 숨을 못 쉬겠어 달리는 걸. 너무 부끄러워 쳐다볼 수 없어 사랑에 빠졌어 수줍은
Before this whole video gets muted, just because this fucking GG baby baby. Just because of fucking one SNSD song. Oh my god. Why did he teleport away? Why did he teleport towards? I don't want Twitch muting any of my VODs. I might have already let it play too long. That was some dank corner control, to be honest. Oh no. No. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. I was worried. It was probably better with music. That was a really risky fireball. Wow. Nice. Very interesting. Alright, where were we?
なんですが、ちょっと昇竜拳との相性が悪すぎるんで、剣に当たったのはちょっとここは厳しくなってしまう。
Fuck Pyrely, I don't care.
剣早いですからね、地上でガツガツ近づかれるとなんとかに昇竜拳をかいくぐって
Maybe it was Gex my recommended.
逃げられないっていうのが
I remembered Gex recently, I forget why.
悩みですが、
And I watched, like, Gex came up in some way or another. I was like, I remember Enter the Gecko. And then I, like, tried to look if there was, like, a speedrun of it or something where I could just, like, peek around and look at all the levels.
裏側に回って地雷まで入る可能性ありますからね、トレードは
I used to have Enter the Gecko.
飛び上がってのアクセ
It was a shitty game, honestly. I thought it was an okay game back then, but I went and replayed it recently and I was like, damn, this is really shitty. It's a very shitty game. It's like Mario 64, but worse in every conceivable way.
ブローレルとダッシュ陣内とか下手したらパクるんで
No, I hate Gex. The overworld is kind of cool apart from the draw distance. I like the way you unlock levels and I like, you know, the navigation between the levels. I'd rather play Glover.
側としては余計な技を振らない限りドラをあまり食らわないはずなのでゲージためは最小限にしつつなんとか近づいていきたい。さあほとんど牽制を振らないですね、剣側は。
Glover's a game I remember being shitty and I replayed recently and it was great.
ロッキンから
Gex is a game I remember being great and I replayed recently and it was
暴れ
shitty.
るか暴れないか暴れる。
Oh, that's a hard parry.
これはちょっと飛んでたのが裏目に出ましたね。
He was far enough away that I think he had not too hard of a first parry, but the beginning was going to be rough.
本当今日は結構いろいろなキャラがいるような感じが。
今日はそうですね、なんかチュニーとかいないですし強いキャラが全然
Gex says the same thing over and over. It's very annoying. Like Bubsy, like when he talks, it's annoying, but at least he says a lot of different shit. And there's something a little bit infectious about Bubsy. When I hear Bubsy saying like stupid shit, I can't help but smile just a little bit. Gex just like makes tired ass references that were like tired when the game came out. Gex fucking, and he doesn't have that many lines and he just says them a lot. I don't know when Ken's TCs work and when they don't. There's a lot of combo knowledge you need to have to play Ken. His combos are very inconsistent depending on who you're fighting.
これはやばいですね。あーこれは入らない。信頼ではなくイエスアツマキだがこれが入らないんですよ。
Judo chop, baby, yeah!
とりあえずこれで
Like 800 times.
来ちゃいましたけど、
確かに来ちゃいましたね。
来ちゃいましたね。ドライ
Wow,
さんと
good
か
one,
もっ
Gex.
といけるかなと思ったけど、意外と
まあね
狙。えてしまって。
Symphony of the Night is a game I've never streamed, but I ought to.
まあいいでしょう。
あそこまで。
あそこまで行っちゃって体力リードを取られたら。
Except for the tongue baby, that's what he said when he missed a ledge and he had to like grab onto it by his
まあ
tongue.
試合に戻ると。
But he does it like every other time you miss a ledge.
まあケンレミ
It's like, wow,
知
fuck
らない
off.
とちょっと嫌な組み合わせ。
Pardon my tongue, darling.
知りません。
はい。
知りませんね。
あ
これ
知りません
知りませんね。
なるほど。
レミいないじゃないですか。
いないですね。
レアキャラですよ、レアキャラ。
確かにレアキャラだ。人のこと言えないじゃないですか。だいぶ言えない。
いやー、12意外と味方にいっぱいいるんで、なんとか
あ、そうなんだ。
Enter the Gecko was annoying enough, but I feel like Deep Cover Gecko is even
何を
shittier.
栄養源に生きてるのかよくわかんないですけど。
まあ確かにどこで繁殖してるのか。
ですよね。もうセミと同じで1週間だったら死んでないかなって。
そうあの生き物増えんのかほっとくと。あ中足対空決めて1ラウンド目はユーサですね。
I feel like Gex is better than Croc,
全然危うさがない
but
というか
Croc is kind of more
まあ
charming in
なん
a
か
weird
ルフレ
way.
とか何回か
I'd rather play one level of Croc
してたん
than
です
one
けど
level of Gex,
まあ陣
but
内
I'd
が
rather
ない
play every level of Gex and every level of Croc. Croc gets
あ
really
これ
repetitive.
はちょっと嫌なやつですね端が。あ下がってくれた。
You can do target combo onto medium DP on a lot of characters, I feel.
そうですねバックステ
Maybe
噛
not
ん
a
じゃ
lot.
ってるから。
Is that really
小
all?
足がうざい。
I guess I'm imagining some other characters. I guess I'm imagining some other setups,
まあレミー
like
の
Stand Strong Medium
リープ
DP or
もそ
Stand
もそも
Fierce
性能いい
Medium
ですから
DP,
ね
which are a little bit more consistent.
ルーグレが
The Evo Moment 37 has crouch forward into medium
ちょっと
DP.
自分はよくわかんなくて、
もうなんか歩って
もう歩いて
歩って立ってくらう。
なるほど。しゃがんじゃダメ。
しゃがんじゃダメ。さあいい
I
勝
haven't
負。
played Croc in years and years and years. Might be back good to go back and play. I don't think I ever played Croc
そうです
too.
ね。
どんどん怖くなってくる
なんかいきなりうざくなって、これはなるほど。もうア
Remy
ッパー
recovers
中小竜陣
crouching for that.
内怖かったんでしょうね。
Fucking ouch, dude.
波動拳が出ちゃう。
中大波動陣内いいでしょう。絶対
Super
殺そう
2
になら
does more
ない
damage
です
than
ね
Super 1, and it's a bit easier to land, but the risks you take
そうレミーの
are
ね
so
ダッ
much
シュ
higher.
ちょっとフレームは
Like, they're both pretty good
そんなに速くないんですけど
anti-airs,
長いから
But like, if you
や
get
っぱ
parried with your
エリアと同じ
anti-air
現象
Super
で
1,
速く感じるん
you're
ですよ
okay.
ね
You're not that bad.
なんか途中の
You get
モーションも
parried with your
飛んでるような
anti-air
感じ
Super
が
2,
して
you're dead.
そう
You're
ちょ
fucking
っと
dead.
見づらいんですよね。
全然フレーム的には長いキャラなんですけど、まあ、長いつか真ん中ぐらい
15とか4とかそんなもん。
Who are some other shitty mascots?
気がしますけど、
Oh, yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog.
まあでも15あったら普通投げかくるだろうなと思いつつもなんで
I had Era the Acrobat as a
まあ
kid.
そうですね
That game had really good music, probably because it was a
まあ
Sunsoft game, and
その
Sunsoft
グラップに
games
は
had good
絶対
music.
なんだろうみたいな。さあちょっとじらされて嫌な匂い。
Era the Acrobat was pretty good, but I remember it got pretty hard. And I had no saving system, so I never beat it. I could probably beat it these days.
ユウさんが全然近寄ってくれない。
そうですね。外せた。弾いてね
Lynx was like recent.
投げ。
I don't even know who Vex and Voodoo Vince are. Tasmanian Tiger, supposedly his game is pretty good.
払う EX はやっぱ強いですからね。また打ち。
Taz.
お、高戸陣内決まって
Supposedly that's like
圏内
a pretty good game.
あー、クラス
Ooh, all that power.
遅らせた。
Remy woke up below parrying for some
す
reason.
げえ遅らせ。
Makes no sense considering his health.
4人
That was the no mix up mix
ちょ
up.
っとさすがに無理だろうと言いながら
Since Strong only beats low parry, otherwise it's just generally good.
まずは初志貫徹
I guess you can catch people taking a throw too, but most people tech late or don't tech.
まあなんだかんだ言っていろんなキャラ使えるから
I never played Blinks. That was like an Xbox exclusive, right?
さあそこにキャラ差が押しかかってくるのか。
I remember playing. There was like an old platformer. No, I shouldn't say old. It was like PS2 era.
キャラ差が
Tak and the Power of Juju.
しかも
I remember playing that, and I remember thinking it was okay. I remember thinking this is like an okay platformer.
まあでもなんか結局龍河も
Nice.
うまい。やることなん
Look
か
at
レミと似
the
てくるっ
wind.
ちゃ似てくるんですけど
This is why Street Fighter 3 is a good game. It's the animation. Look at the wind on Ryu's body when he throws a Hadouken.
まあでもなんか結局
Look at that during the freeze. Pow.
やること
You can feel the power of that
似てくるっちゃ似てくるんですけど波動とジャンプ中パンと移動投げで
似てますか似てますかこれを
Yeah, I think I'm like in a pretty
剣の
similar
強さ
boat.
にビビりながら
I tend to see the good features of
怒ら
games.
せないように怒らせないように
I tend to like
いつの間にか減ってるぐらいの感じの
almost every game I
そうですね。
play. I find something redeeming about it.
あすいませんもう深追いしませんからみたいなこれ以上はいきませんみたいな
When I was a kid, I was a little bit
保ち
More picky than I am now, even
やるのが
even
コ
though
ツ
I'm
です
not.
ね
I wasn't picky then. I'm especially not picky now. But when I was a kid, I only got to rent like one game a week or one game every other week. So what I rented was important.
そう
So when I rented Ocarina of Time versus when I rented Bumble, it's an important thing, you know.
あでも大足でも隠れ
I remember renting Mischief Makers.
あとはリバサ
That was a good game. That was a gem.
そうですね中パン陣
Toy Story 2 on N64. That was a gem.
で表裏で
投げて
厳しいまあなんちゃら昇竜読みで前々って入れたんですかね
ですかね
それかもう爆睡って読みが切れちまって
それ
うん
さっきから離れてばっかだし
そうですね
Didn't like Ocarina.
まあね
I like.
陣内回して
I thought
るっぽいんだ
Ocarina
け
was
ど
good, but I kept getting stuck on it. And every time I rented it, I would get just a little bit farther. And then eventually I kind of figured out everything I needed to do. I never like beat the game as a kid. It took me a really long time to beat Ocarina
あ
not till I was like a teenager.
バックスって書いてあるもんだー
おーしゃー
because I could figure out bits and pieces of the game, but I would return the game and then I would rent it again, and someone would have gotten farther in the game than I did.
トロさん
Using my save file, 'cause N64.
確かに
Like I would get to like Zora's Jabba Jabba's
安か
belly,
った今
and I wouldn't be able to finish it, and then someone else would get it and finish it, and then they like I'd get it back, and I would be like an adult, and I'd be like, "What's going on here?"
うまい
Yeah, If I actually figured out the whole game myself, I think I would have liked it even more than I did, but I liked it a lot.
ダッシュ投げ
The worst Zelda game is usually called Zelda 2, which is not even a bad game. The Adventures of Link.
さあここでリーダーの
It's not a bad game by any means. It's actually a really good game.
ウェーブで出てきましたが
People often occasionally say Skyward Sword, which is a frustrating game, but only because it's so close to good Zelda formula, but just barely misses. And then, I guess you could say Phantom Hourglass.
やっぱり剣の方がきついんですよ竜と比べると
だと思いますけど
I never got super far in Phantom Hourglass. I got stuck like pretty early on, and I didn't care enough to like gamific use it
まあ昇竜拳だけで
or
も
like try and figure it out. And then I never went back to it for whatever reason. I should give it another go.
まあそんな昇竜拳を振り回して
I've heard that and Phantom Hourglass are both quite good games, but I didn't even really like Minish Cap that much,
あと竜あの
so I didn't bother with either of them.
長いんでしたっけ
そうですねプラス2ですねまあ片目はちょっとうざいです
Minish Cap is okay, but I hate the items and the game is too short.
小足がメインなのでどうしても
そうですねあと
And
は
also
まあ
trying to 100% is awful
しゃがみガードする
and not fun.
ああそうですねなるほどおっと
That might work.
見
Yeah.
てますね
Got some low profile frames on that whole super.
Ah,
You had the, I mean, 12 had the
タ
adventure.
イミングずれちゃったかなブローは入れてたと思うけど
Honestly, even the CDI games are kind of good if you just like looking at the entertainment value of them, which is what, you know, video games are all about, right?
やばい
You can say that the CDI games are bad in terms of gameplay, and they are, but at least they're entertaining.
さあダッシュは見てる
消えるがこれはソフトを振りますまあ痛くない昇竜拳で振り返す
だ
あーっと入ったが投げる
山さんダッシュを誤認してしまったけど
That might have been a punish.
ちょっと痛いのは入りづらいですねやっぱり
まあでもこの体力もアッパーソフトで死んでしまうんで
さあちょっとトイレ側はヒヤッとするタイミングがあるがガードは間に合っている
今度はトイレブがオラつく消える
消えるおっと
Nah, even if you're just playing them.
勝利
I've never even seen anyone play Zelda's
燃やされる
Adventure.
波動拳
I don't know a damn thing about it.
さあフロー竜が2人抜い
I've heard it's the best one of the CDI games by a pretty generous margin. I've heard it actually approaches the quality of like Zelda 1. Or like obviously it's not as good as Zelda 1, but like if you like Zelda 1, there's something redeeming about Zelda's Adventure.
新田さんのキャラがわかんないんですよ未だに
I've heard it plays like like Zelda 1. But I've never seen anyone play it. I've barely seen gameplay footage of it.
どのキャラに対しても脅威になってくるんで
今プロさんがむちゃくちゃ歩いて投げに行きました
もう吹っ切れてます
Is the CDI... I mean, they must have emulators. I like The Longshoreman. It's one of my favorite tracks. Song is playing right now, very quietly. Did I change the volume back down? It's probably still loud, right? I guess I could leave it like that, but I'm going to lower it just a little bit. Nice stay around house punish. Or gets hit by the backswing less than you would think there. The CDI had enough games on it that someone would probably bother to make an emulator. I wonder if there's like a game.com emulator. Or Gamecom or whatever. Or like a... What's like some really shitty console from right around then? I wonder if there's like an N-Gage emulator. If I recall, there was a Tony Hawk game for N-Gage and also a Metal Gear game. If the N-Gage came out today, there would be a Kingdom Hearts game on it, mark my words. Kingdom Hearts is the new we want a game on every console.
この竜のリズム感が結構すごい嫌なんですけど僕
The thing about N-Gage was that it was actually a great idea, but it was a great idea at the wrong time, executed poorly.
ただタッチショーキーとか打ってくれるから
But like the N-Gage like completely called the development of the video game industry.
ついタッチショーキー見ちゃって
そうですね影縫いですよもう
めっちゃ歩きます
It's a pity that it looked like a taco while you were using it as a phone. You held it up to your ear sideways.
マジで立つ
Like you didn't hold it up to your ear like a cell phone, you held it up to your ear like...
削られても相当
I don't know how to describe it.
さあ鬼は
Like with the face of the phone facing, like, forward.
中段を食らう。止まれてイカが入る。
Oh yeah, and you had to remove the battery. That was only for the initial release. There was an updated Engage that made it so it looked more like a normal phone when it was in use, and also you didn't have to take the battery out to change the game. That's inconvenient as hell, to be honest.
5機ですかね。エキシビジョンということで。
I don't know what the fuck a laser active is, dude. What the fuck?
なんかさっきの試合でやったんですけど、もうかなり強くて。
ザンクの使い方がすごい。
That's kind of weird that Engage doesn't have an emu and all that other shit does.
テレビでは勝てませんでした。
I didn't know Xbox did actually.
ちょっとザビさんを匂わせるぐらいのザンクを攻めますね。
Fugu got smashed. Holy shit. He barely got some trades in. Laser discs. Those are like the really, really big CDs, right? It's like a CD the size of a record. I probably will juggle. I juggle a little bit. Arcade port consoles, dude, they never did well. Like the Neo Geo. Probably did the best of all of them. There were a lot of like consoles that were just like, here's a bunch of arcade ports.
あと竜巻だったら今現役できたかもしれないが、ちょっと入れ込んでいなかった。空陣で切り替えた。空陣が深当たりすると竜巻からコンボに入ってしまうんで、裏側に、今日の最後は削り切る。
That was actually quite an easy parry. That was like a super, super, super big risk.
次は新太さん。レミ。
レミと、そして色が
Lemmy.
娘から。
まあ実況解説と言いながら僕はほとんど喋ってないんですけどね。全然キャラとかちょっと12ぐらいしかわかんないんで。
さあ、新太さんは結構レミを使うケースが多いんですが、ほとんど
I remember the turbo graphics. That's the one that had the turbo buttons built into the controller. So you didn't need like a special controller to mash turbo. And then it had games that like relied on you having a turbo button. Like Bonk's Adventure. I don't know a game for the turbo graphics besides Bonk's Adventure.
お、決まりましたよ。
Nice.
ただ残空の壁に
The only one I know.
こちらのおっとバスが届かないんで、やっぱり
あまり打ち合いはできない感じ。
I've played it though. I did play Bonk's Adventure. It's okay. It's not a horrible game. It's like a cute little platformer. It's so hard for a platformer to stand out. You know what I mean? Like there were so many platformers of that era. And when you compare like most of them to like Mario 3 or like Yoshi's Island, it's really hard for a game to stand out against like, you know, the best.
レミとしてはゲージを貯めていかないと反則ダメージを取らないと勝ち目がないので、さあ早出しの走りで落としていくが、さあ端から
これ
逃がさない。
結構いいんじゃないですか。かなり圏内だと思うんですけど。
I will argue that the N64 does not have a good emulator. It has a bunch of okay emulators. All that low parrying. He was hungry. He wanted that low parry really badly. Alright, that's all the Third Strike I got. I'm gonna go refill my green tea. I'll be right back, and then I'm gonna play something, but I don't know what. Here I am. Peasant's Quest. I guess I could do a quick run through that game. That sounds fun, honestly. I referenced it just a second ago. I said hello.